Well, first of all, Missy, I do appreciate you giving me time this afternoon. And first thing I got to ask you is, just talk about Isiah as a kid and as a person, and what was he like, growing up to, all the way through high school.
Oh Lord. Well, growing up as a kid, Isiah was always getting in trouble. He was like my little problem child, but he was my baby. He just always was doing something. He always, whether it was playing, he had so much energy. He played with everybody, and he played to the point where he was making everybody mad because he played too much. He didn't know how to stop playing. He just played. He always liked sports. Once he got to like high school, around about 10th grade, all that playing and like getting in trouble stuff kind of slowed down a whole lot. And then once he got to football, junior, senior year, he wasn't really, getting in trouble or anything like that. He was on the straight because he wanted to play football. He knew the conditions to play football. So that helped him out too, as far as going on the straight and narrow.
Coach Filler mentioned that he was so proud of how he turned everything around from, say, his junior to his senior year. From your perspective, how proud are you that he did turn things around from being this playful, mischievous kid to growing up to a young man?
Oh, I was very proud, very proud. I really was proud of him because, he changed. It's like he did a 360. He was ready to go off to school. That's all he wanted to do was play football.
What is your fondest memory of Zay?
Oh, Lord, I have so many. Whew, it's a lot. I don't know. I think my fondest memory is Isiah was always stuck up under me. Wherever I went, Isiah was right there. If I went to the bathroom, Isiah right there outside the door until I came out of the bathroom. He was always behind me. He was, he's my youngest of 5, and he was, my other children, they had other things to do with Isiah. He was always the one that was right there by my side, stuck to me. My thorn. Yeah.
Now, take me back to, obviously, the fateful night. What was the last thing you said to him before he went down to Blacksburg?
When I dropped him off at my mother's house because I was on my way to work, and he said, "Love you, Mom." I said, "Love you too." And whenever he went out, I always told him to behave himself, don't get in no trouble. He said, "I'm not." Isiah wasn't a street person. He had a lot of friends. He had a bunch of different group of friends that he hung around, but he never really hung out in the street. Weekends they might go here or there or go to a party or to college parties or, stuff like that. But he wasn't one that hung out in the street. He wasn't a street person. So that, his friends would get together. Depending on what season it was, they'd either be somewhere in the park playing basketball or somewhere in the cold playing football. So, yeah.
And then when you got the word, when did you find out that Isiah passed away, and then, what was going through your mind through all that?
Well, I was at work, and I received a message that the hookah lounge got shot up. And see, the person that messaged me and told me about the shooting, her husband was DJing that night in place of my boyfriend, because that's normally where he DJs at. And so I text Isiah I called him, no response. I kept on, and I checked his location. And his location was in the same spot. It hadn't moved. I thought Isiah was down the street visiting someone because that's where he said he was going to go. And his location, it never changed. And, then that's when my other children start calling me. Have you talked to Isiah? No, I hadn't talked to Isiah. So after I probably got off work. I got home a little after 3 a.m. from work. Location still had not changed. Still, no response from Isiah. I said, well, maybe during that, he might have got in a scuffle or something and dropped his phone. In my mind, I'm thinking that he dropped his phone. So I immediately, me and my boyfriend, drove to Blacksburg, not knowing what was going on. I pulls up, get out the car, they had the streets blocked off, police out there, and it's just immediately my body just starts shaking. I couldn't even hold my phone to show the detective a picture of Isiah because, I told him I was there because that's where the location of my son's phone was, and I was looking for his phone. So they took me in a building because it was windy out there, so I could, he could see picture of Isiah. So he asked me if I could just meet him over at the police department. Still, I didn't know what was going on. At this time, I'm thinking, well, maybe Isiah done something. So detective finally came. They took me back in the room, started asking me a bunch of questions. And when they, asking me these questions, I'm thinking, yeah, he done did something. So my oldest daughter, I had her on speakerphone. So she could hear the whole conversation with the detectives that was in there in the room. And because it was told that 11 people were shot and 4 were passed away. And 2 of the detectives was like shaking their heads. So, I'm like, okay. So he, told me after I had given him a description of Isiah's tattoo, he was asking me about Isiah's tattoos on his arms. And when I was giving him the tattoo, the descriptions of his tattoo, I had no idea that I was identifying him as, what I was identifying him for. And then, he told me about how many people got shot, and then he told me that Isiah was the one that didn't make it. So. And that was hard because I was just going down there to, get his phone because I'm thinking that maybe he had dropped it or something. I was not expecting that at all.
So at that moment, I mean, I couldn't imagine that. I mean, what did you do kind of after that?
Well, after my breakdown, they ended up calling the ambulance, they took me to the hospital, and giving me something to calm me. I wanted to know where Isiah was. They couldn't give me any information about what happened. They did tell me that he was at the ME's office already. And I've yet to, have been able to see him. I haven't seen him yet. So, and, the detectives didn't really give me any information at all.
So you still haven't seen him, and we're on Wednesday, you still haven't been able to see him or even ID him or anything like that?
Nothing like that. No.
So what else are they telling you? Are they telling you, okay, you can come or do anything? They still...
Well, they won't let me see him until he gets, they're getting ready to release him to the funeral home, so I'll be able to see him when he gets to the funeral home.
I guess the biggest thing is what you told me, which still blew me away. I mean, I guess, how frustrating is that to not even have that opportunity?
Very frustrating. It's hurtful. It's hurtful. Very.
Just listen to what you said earlier. So he did go down there on a regular basis. So it wasn't like he's never been down there.
No, yeah, he's been down there because they used to go to the little college, the little parties and stuff. Um, and I seen where a lot of people was questioning his age, 18, being in a hookah bar. Well, it wasn't like what people are saying it was. It was a hookah lounge. They didn't serve alcohol. You could go in there at 18 years. I mean, when most kids go to college, they're 18. If you bought a hookah, you had to show ID to buy a hookah. So, and I mean, he even worked the door one night taking money for, down there. So people got it all wrong with the little funky comments. So it wasn't even like that, but that's a college city, so what you expect.
And then all the misinformation, just how have you been dealing with that? Because I'm sure, like, we've seen it on social media and everything else. All the misinformation, just your feelings and thoughts on that.
I don't like it at all, and as a mother, it's hurtful. I want to lash out, but now it's not the time for that. So, but people gonna talk. They're gonna say what they want to say, whether it's the truth or not. I mean, I know the truth, So, as long as I know, that's all that matters.
Talk a little bit about the outpouring and support you've gotten from the community, the Patrick Henry, other teams, family, friends, everyone else. Talk about that.
It is overwhelming, and I appreciate it. I appreciate every bit of it. I mean, the kids had a visual out here over the weekend, and the outpour of kids that was out there, I was really shocked. I didn't know that Isiah was loved like that. I really didn't. Coming from that bad little boy to, one of the top athletes. So I was really, I was like blown away for real. And then, the West End Center had something for him yesterday. They're having something for him down in Blacksburg, I think this evening. And it's overwhelming. I appreciate it all. Yeah.
Do you know where and what time they're doing that down in Blacksburg?
I do not.
It's at 7.
7.
Do you know where they're doing it?
Yeah. A student had told me they were doing it on Tech's campus.
Oh, on campus. I guess the biggest thing is to lose a child. My mom actually, I lost my little brother when I was 3 or 4 years old, and my mom knows what that is. Have you had people reach out to you that's going through what you're going through now?
Yes, I've recently an organization called Fed Up, where the group of people have lost a loved one to gun violence. So I met with them yesterday. So I think it's going to be a good group that I probably want to continue to speak with or, get involved with to make some awareness of this gun violence, because it's got to stop. It's got to stop. It's senseless.
When you look, what is, I mean, you've mentioned this before, about Isiah, and you have young people. I'm sure that this is almost a message to young people that, hey, no matter what you're doing now, you could turn it around and get everything rocking and rolling in a positive light. I'm sure that a lot of teenagers are probably looking at this too.
Yes, like yesterday at the West End Center, it was sort of a message to the kids that go there to the center to see how you can change your life. You might start this way, but then you'll end up this way, you know. And it's all about you as a person and what you want to do. You can't let somebody tell you, well, you need to do this or you need to do that. It's you know. You just got to do what's right. And I think that this is for those kids, because they were really into it yesterday, and I think this is something that they're really going to think about. So.
Do you? I'm trying to ask this in a way that's respectful, so if it comes off wrong, please forgive me. Okay. Do you have a message or anything, to the suspects? Anything that you'd like to say or come to mind to them?
Well, what I really want to say, I don't want to say it on TV. So, but justice will be served.
Yeah, forgive me for the question.
I understand.
Just want to be very respectful to you and your family and everybody during this moment. When will the funeral, like a when and where and all that for the funeral?
We will know all that definitely tomorrow.
Okay. So all pending. We can we'll get all that out when needed. I'm sorry. What was that?
The GoFundMe.
Oh, the GoFundMe account. Give me information on that.
Yes. My daughter started a GoFundMe yesterday to help with the arrangements. Because, like I said, I wasn't prepared for this at all. So it was really unexpected.
So where's the GoFundMe account? Is there like a link or anything like that? Or if y'all can send that to me.
It's on Facebook.
It's on Facebook? It's on whose page? Your page? Or?
I shared it to my page.
Okay. I'll go on there now. I guess really, finally, we're near the end of it. I just wanted to ask you, what is the biggest thing as far as Isiah that people probably didn't know about him that people would love to know about him?
Oh, he's a mama's boy. He's a mama and grandma's boy. I mean, he loved his family, so he just, and his nieces and nephews. So I don't. He just, Isiah was Isiah.
Coach Fiddler said there's not a playbook or how to handle something like this. How are you handling this? We're a few days after this tragedy. How are you handling this overall? I
have my moments. I'm trying to hold up, especially for my other children, because they're going through it too. And I hate the fact that my oldest son is he's in another state. He will be here this weekend. He's there by himself, and it's really, he's really going through it. Because whenever he came in town, Isiah never went and hung with his friends. He was always here with his big brother at Grandma's. So, so he's really, going through it. He played a football game the other night before last, and won 2 championship trophies. So he said he did it for his brother. So.
Also, you mentioned going to school. From what I was hearing, he was ready to go to a junior college
in Philadelphia.
Lackawanna, right?
Yes. Thank you, because I keep messing the name up.
Hey, I butcher hookah. I said hooker or something like that. They're like, no, that's not it. It's hookah. I like, okay. I mean, I butchered the word. That's why I try to probably not say it on air, because then it'll come off and I'll say, hey, he said hooker. You need to go back to school and learn how to, hooked on hookah or whatever it is. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the school. He was ready to go.
Yeah, the coaches were saying that, they were ready to bring him up there. He could play and then go from there to a 4-year.
Yeah. Yep, he was ready. Almost made it out of Roanoke.
Anything else you want to say or anything else you want to get out or anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna miss my baby, you know. I just want his memory to live on. And, you know, everybody is posting videos. So I'm seeing different videos and pictures and stuff of him on Facebook, you know. And, you know, some of them put a smile on my face. You know, that one little video when he was at work. I think I just posted it yesterday. And I keep watching that video over and over. And I think that's helping me too cope a little bit. It's just keep watching him being silly. So, yeah. Because he was a character. Yeah.
Miss Missy, again, I appreciate you giving me time under these circumstances. I'm always here for you. I'm a phone call or text away, so whatever I can do for you, prayer, whatever you need, call me anytime, text me anytime, because I'm here for you.
I thank you.
And thank you for helping, you know, let's get his story out there. Let's share his story.
Yes. Oh, yeah, he was well loved. Well loved. Yeah. And some of the kids, it's just, you know, when I read the messages, the post on Facebook and stuff, I mean, some of these kids is really, really going through it. It's just, you know, he had a bunch of friends, you know, they was like brothers to him. So they're really going through it too, so, yeah. I just ask that everybody keep us in your prayers, keep us in our prayers. So.
Well, I appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.